Ana rebuff, Zen renerf. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I'm Stylosa, and do remember, any PTR videos that you see off me are subject to change because that's what the PTR is for. Look at this, impact damage and healing reverted to live values on Ana, and Zen can no longer discord through barriers. Alright, these are huge, and they give us quite a lot of insights into what's going on with the dev team and like how they're trying to affect the meta and change the way the game is being played. So before we get on to Ana, let's take a look at Zen. So Zen, in this gameplay footage here, could discord through barriers. Now, I set up a team here on the PTR, and what we were doing is we're going full dive comp here with an Orisa. So we've got a Winston and we've got a Genji, right? I don't know what the Winston's doing there, he should be diving in, but it doesn't matter, right? What the whole point of this is to show is Zen could just discord through the barrier, and those guys can just dive in and just kill whoever the hell I'm discording. That was the plan, very simple. Whoever I discord, you guys kill, because they're going to be able to kill them really, really quick. And of course, there was some very interesting interactions with Winston, for example, because he can attack through barriers, can't he? So when like a Reinhardt is discorded, Winston's actually doing extra damage to him because he's damaging through the barrier. He doesn't have to be behind the barrier and all of that stuff. Really, really fun. Now, it was obvious why these changes were made to Zen. It's because of Orisa, and it's because of Winston's bubble buff. So Winston, when he drops a bubble, his countdown or his cooldown starts straight away. So like currently on live, when he drops a bubble down, he has to wait until that bubble's destroyed before the cooldown starts. This means Winston can drop a bubble and quite a lot of the time have another bubble ready to go, which is awesome. Orisa can do this with her barrier anyway, and that's a 900 HP barrier, and Reinhardt is Reinhardt, he's going to be there anyway. So we were going into this age of barriers everywhere. So the devs have obviously thought, right, we need some way of working around these barriers. Let's let Zen discord through barriers. So that's what they've done. Thing is, though, it's obviously quite powerful because very simple team coordination can annihilate the enemy team. It makes all of the barriers kind of useless. Because if you've got somebody who can get around a barrier, then, well, they can just get around the barrier and attack the discorded target. A Pharah can fly above and just rain damage down. It is ridiculous. It is fun though, and part of me was like, hey, you know what, guys? I think this is a change for Overwatch League. Now, if you guys don't know what that is the Overwatch esports league Blizzard have been working on, which is going to be this big showpiece league of all the best teams and all of this stuff, big global organisation. I thought that what they're trying to do is circumvent all of this barrier play with Zen and with dive play because it's more interesting to watch from a perspective of a viewer of an esports tournament. But for them to go back on it is kind of interesting. And for them to go back on it so soon as well, because this wasn't really tested for very long. This was just like, oh, right, okay, we'll test it for a few days and then suddenly we'll change them back because we don't like what's happening. There will be barriers in Overwatch. There is the old sort of joke going around of like barrier watch or over barrier or whatever. That is going to be a thing when Orisa is launched, and if Winston's buffs go through, which I believe Winston's buffs will go through because I think that just needed to happen to Winston anyway. But Orisa gives us this extra barrier she can deploy. So if we're looking at teams with Orisa, Winston and Reinhardt, that's a lot of barrier. That is a hell of a lot of barrier to get through. So how are you going to counter this? Do you need a Winston to try and burn through the barrier? Not Winston, sorry, a Bastion to burn through the barriers? Maybe Blizzard have got another idea. I'm hoping Blizzard have got another idea. That's why they've reverted this so quick. Because there is a few fundamentals with Overwatch, and it is the game is designed around choke points and it is designed around barriers. That is why our friend Reinhardt is seen in a lot of games. Now, the thing with Reinhardt is he's not inherently OP. He just benefits in a really big way from the map design, in a really, really big way. So where there's a choke, what the hell, Winston? Where there's a choke, where there's anything like that, not Winston, but Reinhardt can block the choke, so it makes him very effective. He's not OP because he doesn't just win games, but it makes him almost a must-need character. It's kind of like Ana, but we'll get onto Ana in a second. But Zen, I thought, was going to go into this golden period, this super golden age of Zen being in every single game. In fact, you could say with the previous Ana nerf and this Zen buff, which is no longer a Zen buff because it's been taken away from him, we would have been in a case where Zen is the go-to healer that you would always pick because you need him to circumnavigate the barriers. It would just be a fact. And obviously Blizzard have probably thought, what are we doing? Like, are we taking power away from Ana, giving power to Zen, so Zen's always going to be in the game? I don't know, like it's interesting, it's weird, but it's PTR, and it's designed for this. It's designed for fast, rapid changes to see what will go on. And it's quite clear that Blizzard have got some internal data which is showing that Zen is ridiculously OP, or maybe the devs are just like, we don't feel this, so we don't like it. You know, sometimes I'll rely on data, sometimes I'll rely on their own sort of instincts, and sometimes they will look at community feedback. So let's go on to Ana, because Ana is the big one here. This is huge. So they nerfed Ana. and then they've rebuffed Ana, and this is what they say. Ana had the biggest changes in this patch, and upon testing, feedback, and talking about it internally, we decided to pull back on the nerfs a bit for this patch. The damage reduction on her weapon is significant, but if this ends up not being enough, we can revisit some further tuning. We don't want to swing her balance too wildly within a single patch. Okay, now the gameplay footage you're seeing in the background is off live service, so Ana is just how she is right now. So what they're going to do is just have the 80 to 60 damage nerf on the bio rifle. That's it. So she's basically got a 20 damage nerf. So she's not doing 80 damage, she's now going to do 60 damage. The bio nade, well, this thing had its impact reduced from 60 to 30, so that means the impact damage. So no longer would you do 60 damage, you would do 30 damage, and its impact healing had been reduced from 100 to 50. And now they've got rid of this. Now they're saying, no, we don't want to do this because it's too much of a change too quick. Now this is super interesting because there's so many things we can read into this. First thing is, well, our friend Farah, she's going to rejoice because she's not going to get killed in 3 shots from an Ana player. It's going to take 4, much like I showed in the previous video. However, if we go a little bit deeper into this, we've got the D.Va dilemma, and I think this is what this is a reaction to. Now, we all remember D.Va. The D.Va in the triple tank meta was in every single game. It was a required component because she was so tanky. She could take so much damage, and with Defense Matrix, she had a massive pool of effective health. This meant you had this massive mech that could fly around, disrupt the enemy, get into their face, and do a considerable amount of damage. D.Va players loved that period because D.Va, that was the golden age of D.Va. That was like, wow, D.Va's everywhere. Blizzard didn't want D.Va to be like that, and there were posts all over the forums from the devs, and they're saying, look, D.Va shouldn't be able to do all of this, this is why we're going to nerf her, blah, 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 and that's what they did. The thing with the D.Va nerf, though, is they knew by doing it, it would make her selection go from pretty much 100% right down into the gutter. They knew it would do it, but they knew they had to do it for the game because they didn't want her everywhere, because there was no real viable counter to D.Va. It was just everybody had to fire at her, which is a bit ridiculous. So by doing that change, suddenly there's massive uproar. There's like, what the hell have you done to D.Va? D.Va players start complaining that D.Va's getting destroyed. I always try to stay impartial in my videos. Like, I try to well, I'm not impartial, but I give my opinion on what I believe to be fair for the game and what is balanced for the game. Obviously, it's going to be crap for D.Va mains that D.Va is no longer in every single game. But for the game, for the health of the game, it made sense. And this is why I liked these Ana nerfs, because for the health of the game, it made sense. Because no longer did you have Ana being this super healer, super crowd controller, amazing ultimate, and really good 1v1 dueler, all in one hero. That is mental. Like, if Tracer dives you, you'd expect Tracer to kill you, but not with Ana, because Ana would just nade the floor, start firing into the Tracer. It's hard to kill the Ana, whereas every other support, well, you could wipe them out. But this is the interesting thing, right? If you compare the nerfed Ana, which is no longer a thing because this is all being changed on the PTR, but that nerfed Ana with her Bionade of 50, just a 50 heal to herself and just 30 damage to anybody around her, that meant she had the worst sustain of any of the healers. Lucio could heal himself up faster. Zen's shield would recharge. I guess even Symmetra's would recharge. And who's the other one that I forgot about? The other support that I've totally forgot about. This is embarrassing. Whoever the other support... Mercy, there you go. Sorry, Mercy. She would regenerate her health super quick. So Ana was in this position where she couldn't really bring her health back up that fast. So I think maybe that's why they've brought the heal back. What I would be interested to see is why don't they just reduce the damage on the nade? Like, keep the heal, okay, that's fine. Keep her with the sustain, but reduce the damage it does, because that combo of throwing it into the ground, healing yourself simultaneously while damaging the enemy is what makes her pretty powerful in a 1v1 situation. So maybe that'll be something they'll revisit in the future. I do think it's very interesting, though, that they've come out and put this post on the forum saying, look, we've made these changes, they're too drastic, so we're going to bring them back. But we can read into this a little bit more, because it shows us what the devs are thinking if you look at it this way. They know Ana is doing too much. They've said in the past D.Va was doing too much. That's why they nerfed D.Va. They nerfed her in such a way where she was brought way down and she's not being played that often. She's still okay. You know, you can still play D.Va in certain teams, but she's more of a situational pick, right? Maybe if the enemy's got a particularly good Widowmaker, you pick up a D.Va. Maybe if you need to, like, go for some sort of dive comp build, you pick up a D.Va. But you don't just take D.Va out of the gate. She's not like a Reinhardt or an Ana where you just pick them straight away out of the gates. So let's think about what the devs are thinking. They know Ana does too much. So they've gone up and they've thought, right, we need these changes. We're going to put them on the test server. But then literally within a day or two, they've decided to revert them back because they don't like what they see. I don't know about that. I think Ana was in a good position. I play Ana, so it's not like I'm calling for Ana nerfs. Like I said, guys, remember, everything I talk about with Overwatch is my honest thoughts on making the game a better game, like a more enjoyable game. And I agree with these Ana changes. Hell, a lot of people agree with them as well. So it's interesting to see them go back on them. It'll be interesting to see if they do revisit them as well in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa, and this is Unit Lost, and I want you to comment below with what you feel, right? Do you agree with this rebuff to Ana? Do you agree with the re-nerf to Zen? Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. If you're an Ana player, what do you think? If you're a support player, whatever, just let me know what you think about this in the comments below, because these are, like, it's really interesting to see all the feedback, because we get thousands of comments on these videos, and it is just absolutely awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Stylosa, and this is Unit Lost. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and I'll catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.